land. And all of a sudden, as I was growing a little older, something creeped into my life that I didn't expect. All of a sudden, I caught myself doing something that wasn't part of my plan. All of a sudden, I was doing something, I said, that will ruin my plan for life. I had it all figured out. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Had it all figured out. And all of a sudden, again, I caught myself doing something that wasn't part of my plan. And my plan started to get ruined. All of a sudden, my plan didn't look so perfect anymore. Next thing, I hang around with the wrong people. And they're doing some things that aren't part of my plan. And all of a sudden, I start getting sidetracked and pulled along with sin. And I catch myself sinning, and I didn't want to do it because that wasn't part of my life. That wasn't part of my plan. And I started getting pulled aside from my perfect life by sin. And here, all of a sudden, my plan got ruined. And here, I thought I had life by the horns, and all of a sudden, I found out I didn't have life, but that death had me. And I said, what is that working inside of me? And all of a sudden, I realized death was working on me. All of a sudden I realized that sin had a grip on me and that I couldn't do this perfect plan, and it was ruined, and I slipped into sin and I gave up, and I say there's no reason. If I can't have life, if I can't have control, I don't want it. And I just went into the world all the way, and I said I'll just go and do what the world does, and I'll slip into the grave and I'll slip into hell and forget the whole thing. And one day somebody came to me and says there is another way. There is Jesus. And once again, he says a second chance to get life. And Jesus says, if you got me, you got life. If you got me, you got life. And he put me back on the rock and established my goings. And he says, now we have purpose again. Now we have purpose again. He says, now I have let go those death grips that had a hold of you, that sin. He says, I ripped them off. And he says, now, let's go together. Here I thought I had it all worked out. And all of a sudden I realized there was another power inside that I had no control over. Until I came to Jesus and he set me free. He says, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the truth. Truth never changes. It's trustworthy. You can trust it. You can trust Jesus Christ. Truth exposes all lies. When I came to Jesus, my whole history was exposed. I tell you, you put the truth to something, they say it's the shortest way to the end. Truth. You just apply truth one time and it exposes everything. I mean, you live a life of lies. You can have lived a life of lies for 50 years. You apply the truth one time and all those lies are defeated. He says, I am the truth. The truth will set you free. One application. You don't have to see the doctor over and over again. You have a problem, you see him one time, he'll point out your problem. He'll apply the truth. The truth exposes all error. It's liberty. It has no secrets. The truth has no secret. It unites. We're going to be united in truth in heaven. It unites. It's always right. It's dependable. It is always final. It's victorious. It is always available. It is helpful. And it leaves no assumptions. It is clear. He says, I am the truth. I tell you, it doesn't matter what you're dealing with this morning. You apply the truth to your life, and it is the answer. It is the answer. If you have problems between you, you only need one thing. You need the truth. And he says, I am the way. I am the way to another world. But I am the truth. I tell you, the truth has a perfect standard. Sometimes I look at people that don't have quite as much as I do. And then I look at other people that have quite a bit more. And I say, that group is rich, and that group is poor. And then I look at some people that are smarter than I am. I say, they are really smart people. And I talk to somebody, and they don't understand what I'm saying. And I say, oh, they're just dumb. And then I look at some people that have a higher standard than I do. And I say, they're taking things a little bit too far. And then I look at some people that have a little bit of lower standard than I do, and I said, they're just carnal. Who's the standard? That's how we live on earth, and we judge by this guy. But I tell you, heaven holds another standard. Heaven, Jesus says, I am the truth. I am the standard that fits heaven. Sometimes I knock on a door and I ask, if you were to die today, would you be 100% sure that you would go to heaven? And they say, I think I'll be okay. I ask them, would you like to go the way you are? I say, I don't want to go the way I am. I want to be changed. I want to be conformed to his image, because if I go the way I am, I would make heaven just like earth. I would bring this standard down, but I want to be raised to a higher standard. I want to live according to God's standard. I want to live according to truth. And Jesus says, on earth, you can use yourself as the standard, but in heaven, I am the standard. And we'll never fit it until we come to him. We'll never be fit for heaven until we meet that standard by his righteousness. He is the truth. He fits, but we don't fit. And we can judge the people around us by ourselves, but I rather you not, because there is another judge that judges righteously. And you can say, just because they don't match up to your standard, maybe they have a little bit less than you, they may not be poor. They may have a lot more on the inside. It doesn't matter. I tell you, the world will judge you by your wallet, but God will judge you by your heart. I love Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 2. It says, he hath no form or comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He says, I don't give you a physical attraction. He says, the world will paint you a picture of Jesus Christ that you can cast your eye upon. But he says the Bible will paint you a picture of Jesus Christ that you can cast your heart upon. Are you living according to his standard? Are you the standard? If you are, I want to get to know you, because I want to follow you, but I already found somebody. He says, in heaven, I am the truth, the standard. He says, I am the life. In John chapter 11, I love the story where Mary and Martha, Lazarus gets sick. Jesus is busy in the ministry. And the first thing that pops into their mind, let's call for Jesus. If we could get help from Jesus, we'll be okay. So they send word to Jesus, just like we do when we have a struggle in our life. We send word to Jesus. And here Mary and Martha, the first thing they send word to Jesus, our brother is sick. Jesus pretends he hasn't heard anything. Isn't that sometime with our prayer? We pray, Jesus, I have a problem. I need you right now. Jesus keeps on walking. You know why he did that? They weren't asking for enough.